Welcome to Unite Now, where we bring unity to you, wherever you are.
Hello everyone, I am Yuko Johnson, Director of Business at Genvid Technologies, and I will be joined by Takaachi Ichijo at Throw the Orb to Code Out, Sam N at Thousand Ant, and Jyro Blade at Bumblebear Games. In this session, we will explain how the Genvid SDK makes it easy to add interactive live streaming to your Unity-based game, and show you how interactive streaming can improve the experience for players and viewers of your game. So let's get started. Before I start talking about Genvid, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Yuko Johnson. I have been working in the game industry for 8 years, mainly introducing cutting-edge middleware to the Japanese game industry. You might be familiar with those logos. Those are the middleware I used to sell, and I joined Genvid Technologies as Director of Business in November 2018. Now, let me introduce our company. We are Genvid Technologies, founded in 2016 by veterans from Square Enix to build a technology that can power the future of interactive media. Our goal is to become the unity of interactive streaming to make it easy for everybody to create interactive streaming and open the door for the next generation of entertainment. When I joined this company a year and a half ago, there were only 30 people, and now we have twice as many people in 6 offices around the world. Now, I would like to talk about the thoughts behind our product. I've mentioned interactive streaming, and some of you might be wondering what it is. We believe that game and media will meet in the middle and create a new category, interactive streaming. This movement is already happening, with game companies and tech companies already acting like media companies. Esports or game broadcasting would be a good example of that. And media is also getting closer to gaming experiences. You may know that Netflix is offering interactive content such as Black Mirror Bandersnatch. We are having conversations with many media companies globally, and they are very serious about the future with interactivity. One TV giant in Japan actually said that making broadcast content interactive for viewers has been the long-time dream of the TV industry. And it is good for us. The game industry has been all about interactivity since the beginning. And if media industry wants to implement interactivity, it means that the game industry is kind of expanding the area, and it will be a very exciting and lucrative opportunity. And we believe that interactive media will double the market size of the game industry. Currently, you are only focusing on players and monetizing only from players. How do I make players happy? How do I monetize players? This is what the game industry has been about. It is of course natural since it is the core business of the industry. But please take a look at the graph. These numbers are provided by SuperData. The orange part represents the game market, which is growing but fairly slowly. The pink part shows other interactive media and is obviously growing very fast. However, game developers didn't have a means to reach out directly to them before. So the only thing you could do with the streams was to use them as a marketing tool, hoping viewers watching the streams come to like the game and become players. With the Genvid, for the first time, developers can be now part of both markets. With interactive live streaming, game developers can offer more immersive and interesting viewing experiences and monetize directly from them as well. Then, what is the great viewer experience we are talking about? Imagine this as a live stream on a platform such as Twitch. You add an overlay on top of the video, like this, as a UI for viewers. By adding it, viewers will be able to interact with the game. Viewers can get the information of the players or items in the game when they want, without waiting for streamers to show it. Or viewers can customize the UI or switch the camera to the view they like, or even send items or enemies into the game. Genvid will perfectly sync the overlay with the video. For example, Please take a look at the right image. If you click on the player and mark the player with a circle, it will track him as he moves. This will unleash a lot of possibilities for everybody. Watching esports will be very easy to understand, and for less competitive games, you can create new kinds of content such as players and viewers cooperating to solve puzzles and overcome challenges together while having different levels of experience. Regarding the levels of experience, there were only two options before: you play or you watch. Now there are many levels of participation. You can play as a player if you want, but you don't need to be a player. You can watch and sometimes you can participate and have an impact on gameplay. Or maybe you just want to switch the camera, or you want to know what weapon this player is using. We call it micro engagement. Viewers participate at many different levels, and for developers, there will be monetization opportunities in each phase. Here is the quick technical overview. On the left, in green, is the game. You set up a Genvid server as the spectator mode, and the video and audio that are made there will be streamed to the platforms such as Twitch or YouTube. That is the pink part on the top right. Game data will be sent to the overlay created with HTML and in JavaScript. When viewers click on the overlay to cheer players or send items into the game, that information is sent to the Genvid server as events. Then Genvid merges the data and sends the commands to the game. Genvid syncs all the data perfectly, making it possible for developers to create advanced viewer experiences. As you can see in the picture, Genvid is not in the game client, and you have to set up a server for the streaming. So even if players want to interactive streaming by themselves, it is not possible right now. Currently, Genvid is for official events held by developers, gathering massive viewers and having them interact with the content there. Therefore, to support individual streaming, we are also developing a new product called Local Genvid. There will be an SDK for game clients, an OBS plugin, and we will prepare a platform for deployment as well. Those three parts together will enable players to run interactive streams by themselves in the future. Finally, when you are using Unity, it is very easy to integrate Genvid. We are a verified solutions partner and we have a plugin ready for Unity. You can download and start using Genvid quickly. Also, we have implemented Genvid in the Unity Tanks sample. If you want to see how you can add features like ads on the overlay that will be superimposed on top of the billboard in the game, you can check the code and see how it works. Both the plugin and the sample are available free in the Unity Asset Store. Please go check it out. Now I would love to pass to Ichijo-san for the case study.
Hi everyone, I'm Takaachi Ichijo. Today I want to show you how to integrate the Genvid system to my game. Let me share a bit more about myself. I'm running a company called Head High. I love craft beer and collecting new wave vinyl from the 80s is my hobby. I really want to go to Paris but can't these days, so I've spent over $1,000 for a bottle of craft beer. My previous work is an adventure game called back in 1995. Perhaps it was the world's first game with PS1-like concept. It took 2 years to build and was released in 2016 on Steam and ported to several platforms after that. Recently, many game developers started to making PS1-like games a lot. Personally, I'm very happy to see it happening. I had a session at Unite 2016 Tokyo about this game. And I wear many hats. As I mentioned, I have a studio called Through the Warp called out for game development. I am also CEO of a service company called Head High that provides developer relation service. We help companies who wanted to spread their game dev tool and services in Japan. In addition, to support the indie community, I run my own website, indiegamesjp.dev, and I am a core member of Asolver, the co-working space of Makers Fund for indie game creators in Japan. In this session, I would like to discuss how I added the interaction feature for live stream viewers using Genvid to my current game in production, Demolition Robots KK. Demolition Robots KK is a 4-player robot action game. Players destroy buildings as giant robots while they don't fight each other. They earn money every time they destroy a building. This money is in-game money, not real money. The players who earn the most money will win. I am developing this for PC and Switch. Regarding Genvid integration, currently I am planning it only for PC. However, I am going to do some research for Switch version later. Here is a quick video of the game without the interactive live streaming overlay. Effects and UI are work in progress now. I am going to add more kinds of robots and it will look much more polished in the future. Let me talk about the development environment. I created all game design and scripts and hired 2 CG artists and 1 music composer as part-time developers. Unity version is 2018.4.20. It is a bit old, but this is because I started this project in 2018. Regarding plugins, I'm using CLI ADX2 for interactive music and UniRX for the coding of link to events, other than Genvid. Now I will show the demo of the interactive live streaming of this game on Twitch. Those are part of the interactive overlay which only the live stream viewers can see. This is the screen you see when you're watching DLKK streaming on Twitch. Viewers can cheer players by clicking the blue icon that shows up above the When a player has been cheered enough times, a special attack will be unlocked for the player. This robot is now glowing blue and can use the special. Livestream viewers can click and select any building on the map, and you can see a list of names show up on the top right. I will select the building which shown as my house, and in this demo my name is set as Hank. You can see same name here. So the my house here means your property in the game. Oh, look at that, the blue robot going to destroy my house. My neighbor buildings is gone and my house was destroyed. So let's throw this player with this button, which I will set a trap. The countdown is started, and at the end of this countdown, here, that fire torch was dropped from the sky. Yes, burn him. And the trap sender's name with green letters, it was not override, same name is here. It can see all player. Player will be able to know who sent that. So let's send some more tears. I am a fan of the Player of Year robot. I will send cheering to Yellow one this time. Oops, he looks like he's going to finish in last place if you couldn't cheer him, but yes, he could use the special attack by cheering and got the second place. Regarding the process of integrating Genvid into the game, first thing I did was to learn how it works using the tank demo. All the speakers in this session will talk about the tank demo sample after my part, so you can get more details later. Next step was copy the overlay script of the tank demo sample to the DLKK game project and run it as a demo. I explained about this and demoed it Unite 2019 Tokyo. It was difficult for me to make the overlay from scratch, so I did this way, and it worked without any issues. And then I rewrote the demo with the Genvid team to show it at Genvid's booth at GDC 2020. Next, let me introduce the steps I took to create these features. First of all, I planned how I should design the viewer's interactivity. To motivate viewers to join, I thought it would be necessary to add both something to help players and something to troll players. and came up with the idea to send cheering to enhance players and allowing viewers to troll players by dropping traps. Players will receive the cheering from viewers staying anonymous, but when players receive the trap, I made it possible for them to see the sender's name so that they can know who sent it. There are two types of transmission between the game and browser in the RKK. One is to send the data of the viewer's interaction from the browser to the game as an event, and the other is the data that game side will provide to streaming to the browser. The browser sends button presses and Twitch ID to the game via events. Genvid will merge the events from viewers in order to reduce the amount of data transmitted and then pass it to the game. Game will send the data of the player's robot position, building position, and flags for the destroyer building to the browser via the stream. First, unlike the Genvid sample game, I separated the game object of Genvid into an independent scene. By doing this, I can exclude the scene from compilation for the builds that don't use Genvid. If you release your game to multiple platforms, I recommend that you do this. For DLKK, I made an emulation mode I call overlay emulation. This is a feature to check the interaction on the overlay in the Unity editor. It makes it easy to check the game behavior when viewers interact with the live stream. I recommended this method. Also, you can use this to explain how the overlay should work before implementing it. After testing with this, I then tested locally with Genvid. This was the workflow of the development. Let's take a look at this code. I will introduce how implemented for the Unity side. For the Twitch extension side, I will discuss it another time. I prepared interfaces for the code to send certain data from the game to the Genvid server, and for the code for games to receive events from the Genvid server. By implementing these interfaces to support both actual Genvid transmission and emulation mode, I could architect without thinking which mode the game system is using. I would like to explain what kind of data the RKK is actually sending. Firstly, it is sending the coordinate information of robots each frame at 30 FPS. This will allow the lock-on image of the robot to appear on the overlay and track the robot. Via the method onUpdate player screen pause, the game system will update the player position every frame. Genvid stream component will call subnet player data method each frame and send the data to the Genvid server. With the inspector of Genvid game object in the scene, you define what kind of data to send and set up a callback for the code you wrote. This is showing that the method onSubnetStream will send an ID with the name playerStreamData. Building data is transmitted as well. The flag to see if the building is destroyed in the game is sent to the Genvid server once per second. In the DDC demo I showed earlier, positions and viewer name array are not implemented. These will be implemented in the future. Calling the method of onUpdate building state array is limited to once per second, so I sent annotation directly using method submit annotation via Genvid Session Manager instance. The building state array argument is an array where an element is 1 when the building is there, 0 when it is destroyed. Next, let's take a look at the code when the game receives the button press event from the browser. When a player is selected and the cheer button is pressed, it is sent to Genvid server as an event, and the Genvid server will notify the game. On receiving the notification, it will run code in the game. In the game, player can use the special attack after getting a certain number of cheers. Genvid event notification can include strings and numbers data in Genvid SDK event result class. The player number that shows which player is cheered is included in results0.fields0 for DLKK case. The Genvid server has a feature to reduce the number of transmissions by merging the event sent from many viewers. DLKK is using it to sum the number of cheers for each player, and passing the number is result 0 point value 0 point value argument. In the method, player number and number of cheers is converted to tuple type, and it notifies the game system. Now I will show the code for dropping a trap. How it works is basically the same as the cheering. The event contains the Twitch ID of the viewer who dropped the trap, information of which player was the target, and the type of the trap. The trap's event result argument has the information of Twitch ID of the trap sender, type of trap, and which player was locked on. Those data are converted to Genvid trap event data struct, and it is notifies the game system. Cheering and drop trap event code correlates to on-event triggered fields in Inspector of Genvid event game object. In addition, I am sending other notifications such as the one to make the cheer button available again after a player uses a special attack using points collected from the previous tiers, and the one that notifies when the game round ends. Based on my experience, I recommend indie creators work with someone who knows web technology well, because the web overlay must be written in HTML and JavaScript. If you already have the skills, you're perfect. I was not, so I asked another person to make the overlay for me. Even if you are not familiar with web technology, don't worry. There is a tank demo available with Genvid in the Unity Asset Store, and it will help you understand very well. Also, as I explained earlier, a feature that can emulate the overlay behavior in the Unity editor is very helpful. I strongly recommend making it. It can provide fast iterations, and if another team is making the overlay, it makes it very easy to explain and understand the behavior. In DLKK, I made it possible to start the overlay emulation mode in a Windows build by passing command line argument. So let me explain that why add interactive streaming. It's completely new forms of interaction between players and viewers. Viewers can add to the randomness and unpredictability of the game, making the game more fun for players. Viewers will have more and deeper ways to experience the game. You can expand the range of fans of your game, and monetize the viewers of the live streaming of your game. Demolition Robots KK is under development for release in Q4 this year. I hope you'll give it a try, and I hope to see your games using interactive live streamings as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sam Eng, the head of tech at Thousand Ant. Here at Thousand Ant, we create content for highly technical software, such as with Unity and Microsoft products. We had the pleasure of working with Genvid on their tanks example, which shows off their unique tech. We helped them create several new user onboarding videos, which helps guide users onto how to use the Unity integration and how Genvid works. Here at Thousand Ant, many of us, like myself, are experienced Unity developers, so we were really excited to check out Genvid's Unity integration. We were really impressed by the way Genvid was able to simplify and condense their functionality for use in their SDK. We were able to get the demo running locally rather quickly, and we were able to see the functionality to send events from the viewer stream up to the host. It's really cool. While working with Genvid, we had a little bit of feedback for them from a developer perspective. While we were exploring the Genvid SDK and their tanks demo, it really felt like the biggest hurdle for Unity developers like us was the cloud infrastructure. Genvid already does a lot of the heavy lifting for you in terms of the networking, but it does require a cloud component that rests on the developer's hands. A full-service cloud integration would really reduce the developer resources needed to create a cloud title. This would be especially useful for smaller developer teams who might not have a cloud engineer on board. I know Genvid is actively addressing this concern, so I look forward to seeing their solution when it's ready. In the future, I can see Genvid's tech being extremely appreciated by both users and developers. Plus, there are more streamers and stream watchers every single day. Already, being able to customize your view of a game is a killer feature. It's like being able to choose your seat and angle at a basketball game. The first time I saw Genvid, I was watching a Counter-Strike tournament where I could change the viewport and customize the size of the minimap and even change the color of the crosshair. It felt really natural and user-friendly. It helped me really understand a fast-paced game like Counter-Strike. What I'm really excited about as a game developer is the idea of new experiences being enabled by this type of technology. I think there's going to be a lot of really cool experiences that come out with this viewer to stream interaction. It's already possible right now, but it requires a lot of infrastructure and a lot of code and a lot of resources to create, especially for a smaller team. Something like Genvid allows teams to create this sort of experience a lot easier than trying to roll their own solution. This type of interaction creates a whole new layer in which games can be designed for. I have a ton of ideas myself, but I really can't wait to see what other people do with it and what kind of new experiences and new games that come out from this sort of tech. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Hi, I'm Jyro Blade, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Bumblebear Games, and I'm going to talk a bit about our unique and very cool partnership with Genvid. So, at Bumblebear, we're best known for our hit 10-player arcade game, Killer Queen. And being an arcade game, we don't usually get to benefit from a lot of online features from within the game itself. And really, one of the only ways that we can connect with the internet is through streaming. And our local arcade scenes love to stream their tournaments. So when Genvid showed us some of the awesome potential for interactive spectating that integrating their system into our game had, we were very interested. And we were especially interested considering that Killer Queen is developed in Unity, and Genvid was designed to have specific Unity features in mind, and included prefabs and code that were intended to make getting set up relatively painless. So the main system we designed together allows for fans watching a stream of Killer Queen to get all kinds of useful stats, cheer for their favorite team or players, and it hosts several practical sales features for us as well. The main bulk of the Unity side integration is actually implemented within a secondary observer build of the game. This observer is an exact copy of Killer Queen that runs on a remote server, and it's linked to and exactly mirrors a game being played on one of our traditional arcade cabinets. This lets us create a place where special effects that are intended to be viewed by everyone watching the stream online could live without affecting players actually in the game, who may be potentially playing in an important tournament and wouldn't want that kind of distraction. This can be a complicated task to get right, especially when working with a new system like Genvid, but fortunately sending the required data through Genvid using their built-in Unity tools proved to be a relatively straightforward process once we got it set up, which was great. So with that observer built, we also created a streaming overlay that includes tons of useful information. These features were designed to appeal to existing fans and gave information such as the ability to track player stats like kills or objectives completed, but they were also designed to onboard new fans by allowing them to click on various features around the game map to learn more about how the game is played. Onboarding new players to our game remotely is usually exceptionally challenging, and so this is a big help to teaching the game in a new and interactive way. As mentioned, we also included the ability to cheer. So cheering for a particular player pops up fun confetti above their head, while cheering for a team moves a cheer meter at the top of the screen towards that team's side. These are both visible to everyone watching the stream, and they really add an extra sense of interaction between viewers, sort of like cheering for your favorite team at a sports game. Finally, we included some simple but very important tools to help transition players from a stream to actually participating in the game in other ways. These include the ability to bring up a map to see what the nearest arcade with the Killer Queen machine is, and a link directly to our store where people can buy merchandise or whole arcade cabinets. When working with Genvid, we were dealing with a relatively early version of their system, without a whole lot of tutorials or existing reference material to work from. Although this was sometimes challenging, the Genvid team was exceptionally helpful with ensuring their integration was successful and provided tons of support to make sure that we were able to work through all of our difficulties. Our biggest request was just that the whole process needed to be more streamlined for the initial setup. The more plug and play the whole process could be, and the more existing content we had for comparison, the easier all that setup would become. We're now able to look and see several helpful features, like getting started videos and example projects that didn't exist before, as well as expanded utility on those Unity prefabs and example code I mentioned earlier. So as we look towards the future of arcade games in general, we see more and more players and arcade operators streaming their content, and looking for ways to engage a remote audience while still highlighting the excitement of that in-person arcade experience. And as more arcade games are developed in Unity and seek to have that functionality, we expect to see Genvid more in the future as a way to give developers a chance to offer that service packaged right inside their games. And I know that we at Bumblebear also look forward to continue putting Genvid in our Unity games. Thank you.
So thank you all for attending this session, and I hope you are intrigued by the potential of interactive live streaming and enjoyed the examples you saw. We believe that interactive streaming is a new generation of entertainment, and that Genvid will help you unleash new possibilities. The Genvid SDK is free to download and try, and I encourage you to check it out. Thank you.